Hey everyone, on today's shitty opinion, I'll be taking a dump while talking about the developmentally challenged. It's gonna be a laugh riot, I'm sure. Alright, welcome to another edition of Shitty Opinion. Now, Now This, put out recently, Elizabeth Warren, talking to a person who was apparently with a form of Down syndrome. I'm not sure exactly the details, but I'll research it. Now, the argument essentially was that people with mental disabilities or who are developmentally challenged should be paid minimum wage. And sounds like a great idea. I mean, honestly, why would you really be against something like that? Well, the problem starts to come in when people who are developmentally challenged, they get social benefits. They get paid, essentially, because they can't work. So if they start to work too much, they lose their benefits, because the argument is that if they can work and work full time and pay all their bills, then they don't need assistance. So therein lies the problem. And the problem is the argument of them being mistreated. That should obviously be avoided at all costs. We don't want to have slave labor. We don't want to have people being taken advantage of. And we do have laws and we do have caseworkers that deal with that. Now, I have experience with the developmentally challenged. I used to work with them in various forms, in various ways, from the high functioning to the ones that could only say, oh yeah, for everything. Oh yeah, you like that girl, Wayne? Oh yeah. You like that spaghetti? Oh yeah. Anyways, great to work with. But what most people don't seem to understand in this situation is that with the abuse cases aside, that should definitely be dealt with. For the most part, I'd estimate around 90%, and I'll look up the numbers. 90% of the time, people who hire the developmentally challenged aren't doing it because they need an employee to work for them. In many cases, the DCs, developmentally challenged, they can perform one menial task and maybe they can perform it really, really well, but they don't work for a long time. They don't have the endurance to work for a long time, or they
little quick outro of the pooping with things that I'm researching on this. So according to Massachusetts University, who did a poll on this, the competitive employment among the adults with ID in the sample encompassed a wide breadth of occupational fields, including customer service, 28%, retail, 17%, restaurant work, 16%, office work, 9%, and manufacturing, 8%. Other occupations respondents mentioned including landscaping, construction, childcare, and animal care. Nearly all who were employed in a competitive setting, 87%, were reportedly being paid around or above the minimum wage for their state. Good. However, few, 26%, were employed full-time. In comparison, it is estimated that about 3/4, 73%, of employed adults without disabilities are employed full-time. In addition, only 1/3 of those competitively employed were offered health insurance from their place of employment. Going further into this, the reason why, out of the 11,000 that were surveyed out of a pool of 341,000, etc., of those with disabilities, those were the higher functioning ones. The higher functioning ones fell into the 34% realm. Of those, they weren't offered health insurance because they were already covered. Very important. So it's looking like, according to the statistics, that the mistreatment is not as big as that little video clip was made out to be. I'm sure extenuating situations exist, and this whole thing does need to be re-examined and re-looked at so that things are treated fairly. But for the most part, what I'm seeing is that employers are being fair, and
They don't have the attention to work for a long time, or they can't do multiple tasks. I'm not saying them all. There's many who have jobs at the White House who speak 6 different languages. That's amazing. However, generally, the case is that businesses donate a position. It's not a real position. They're hired. And the main purpose is to reduce stigma of living with people that are different, as well as to give these people an integration, a feeling of belonging. Everybody wants a job to do. Everybody wants to feel a part of things. And while they may not be able to articulate that, they do gain a gigantic benefit socially from going to a job and working. So, the argument still is made that you have to pay these people the minimum wage. Well, in places like Seattle and Toronto, the minimum wage has been upped to about $14 an hour. So essentially, for maybe 2 to 3 hours, you're going to pay an employee $15 an hour, $15 an hour, that you're going to have to watch, that you're going to have other employees make sure that they're doing the tasks, to pick up the slack from the tasks that aren't being fully done. You're going to put them into more of a financial situation, which means that they're going to be disinclined to hire someone with a disability, which starts a different kettle of fish going. So now you have a situation where businesses are going to start discriminating based on developmentally challenged people or disabilities. So you're going to have a case of, I want this person who has DM, maybe they have cerebral palsy, maybe they have Down syndrome, higher functioning, whatever it is, hire them. Well, I need a person who can work more than a few hours a day and who can do multiple tasks. Can they do that? No. Then I'm not hiring them. You have to, because you can't discriminate. It's going to cost me money to hire this person. It's not in my benefit to hire this person. It might be in their benefit, but it's not going to be in my benefit at all, and it's actually going to be a detriment. I'm going to have to raise prices to recoup the cost of the job you're making me give them. I'm doing a little bit of a slippery slope, I will admit that. But even myself, who has worked with these people, if I ran a business and the government came in telling me that I had to give a job to someone who was not capable at all and pay them full wages, and they were going to still get benefits, I would have a problem with that. I would have a deep problem. I think many people would have a problem with that. So there definitely needs to be a reevaluation of how many hours worked versus benefits that you can claim, because many of them may be able to work, but maybe they need an accountant to handle their financial situation at home, or maybe they need a client worker for that. I'm not saying, what am I really saying? What's my really shitty opinion here? My really shitty opinion here is, no, don't pay them minimum wage. Why? It's really not in their benefit anyway. Most of the time, they don't need the job. They're just there to become integrated in working society, in which case, you know what? Maybe they can go volunteer. They're still going to get the same benefit. You know, most of them just want to work. They don't care about if they're going to get paid. They just want to work. They just want to be part of something. And you can do that without causing pay issues and income issues and government interference. That's just my shitty opinions. Part I guess I could do a little bumper on how to properly wipe. I already did that with the first one. But maybe, just a retouching. There's other ways, I mean, $1 a month club who does razor blades. I'm doing a plug without getting any money for it. They have cleanup Charlies. So, if you're a little bit stickier with your brown secretions, you get a little cleanup Charlie. It's a wet wipe for adults. Good stuff. I recommend wet wipes just in general, being a parent. And scene. I really feel that I didn't put out too much. Either in a video category or just in waste. I mean, technically those are the same thing with what I produce. It was actually done like 5 minutes ago. It's a 10-minute video. It was actually done less than 5 minutes ago. I'm a quick pooper. For the credits. Snip, snip, snip. Snip, 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 snip. Edited. Yeah. Snip, snip, snip. Alright, let's do the opening bumper.